mention. Oh yeah, it is. That's right. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I will discuss again, continue for the discussion, especially for this case. Yeah. In the last meeting, we discussed about the expected cost. So in the expected cost, we assume that sometimes if we have a decision, for example, the number of the machine is 3.45, and then we should decide which one better. We buy 3 machines only or 4 machines. It is common in the real case. So when you got the the final result is 3.5 sometimes in your senior high school, I think you will decide 4. Correct? Yeah, it's kind of integer. So it is part of integer programming. If we continue to discuss about this deeply, and then in this case we have 2 conditions. Then we decide in 2 categories. For the first, if we concern with the idle of the machine, yeah, and then concern with the cycle times, yeah. So we concern about the cycle time of the machine. We use the first formula. It's called TEC N1. This is the first formula. So if we decide N1, yeah, and then we can continue for this next section. We try to calculate the expected cost for N2. For the N2, we will decide that, for example, from 3.5 to 4. But for the first one, we decide from 3.5 to 3. Then, yeah, we calculate the expected cost of foot of term based on the idle of the machine and based on the idle of the operators. But for the easy things, I think we can decide first, yeah, use this formula, then continue this formula. The first formula is concerned with the idle of the machine, and the second formula is for the idle of the operator. And then the decision is we choose the lowest TEC. Choose the lowest TEC. For example, if the TEC for N1 lower than TEC for N2, we decide N1 decision. So from 3.5 to be 3. So we decide only buy 3 machines, only use 3 machines. And then if the expected cost of N2 for the second formula lowest than TEC for the first formula, we choose the lowest TEC based on 2 formula. I think it's simple. Okay? And then let's try. This is the case. And then for the loading time, and then for the moving time, and then for the machining time, cost of the operators, and then cost for operation of the machine per hours. We will give the case. Yeah, and then continue for this. Use the previous formula, and we try to calculate the number of the machine. Yeah, how to calculate this one for the synchronous servicing? For Ahmed, I will send the PPT for the English version later. Okay, I think we have discussed it. Yeah, and then continue for this. The decision is 3 or 4. For the first, for the N1, use the first formula, put the information to the formula, then continue. And the result is, yeah, 1709. And then for the second formula, put the data, yeah, and then continue for the result. And based on this concept, we decide that 4 machine is better than 3 machines. Because based on the expected cost. This is only one point of view. But sometimes in the real case, I think we can analyze with many point of view. Sometimes we can combine. But there is only one point of view based on the synchronous fixing concept. Understand? Yeah. For the second, in completely random servicing, in completely random servicing, we will decide the decision for the problems based on the probability. Sometimes we know that for the probability, we use a binomial distribution. For the binomial distribution, suppose that the machine will run, and then suppose that the machine will idle. The condition of the machine sometimes running, sometimes is idling. Two condition only because it is binomial distribution, running or not. Then the sum of the between the two probability is equal to 1. Understand? I think you have studied this probability in the previous class. Okay, and then this is the formula. P plus Q, and continue further. It is depend on the number of the machine, and then based on this, this is the case study. Assume that suppose that the running time is 60%, and then for the attention time or idle, for the idle time is 40. So if we have 3 machines, what should we do? In continuous, we use this formula, but this is only how we can divide the 3 machines, and then we try to divide to be like this. Because if we have 3 machines, so for the first machine, we assume that the first machine is running, and then sometimes could be idle or on time. That's why we call R and T, running and on time. And also for the second machine, also have the same things, I think. Running or not, running or delay, running or on time. So we divide to be 2. Okay, and then continue for the next for the machine 3. Divide to R and D. So what would we do if we have 4 machines? Continue, divide again, running and
So about if we have like let's say of this example in the midterm exam, like should we make the 3 diagram like this?
yes, for the midterm exam, if we have the same case, okay, please divide one by one. If the case is for machine, if the case of only for 3 machine, let's see. Okay, and then continue. So based on the case, the probability is 60, right? 60 and 40 for the time. And then we calculate one by one. Assume, suppose that running for the first machine, running, second machine running, third machine running. So the probability is this one. Correct? And then first machine is running, second also running, and the third for the one time. So the probability is continue one by one until the formula, the total of the formula is 1. Okay, and then we try to calculate about the time for the machine, the probability, because sometimes if all of the machine is running, no idle, so the probability in that case is 0.16. Check this first. All of the machine is running, so R and running, and running, and then the total is 0.16. Understand? Okay. Next, assume that one machine idle. only one machine idle. The number of probability is 0.432. How come? So only one machine idle. Which one? One machine idle. This one, right? Running, idle. The probability is 0.144. Correct? And then, any more? This one for the second. Correct? For the second. Running, down time. Running down. And then, any more? Anything else? Which one? Down? Running? 3 multiplied by 0.144. So the total is 0.40. Understand? Any question? Okay, we can continue. Next, for two idle. Yeah, two idle, one running. Two idle, one running. So the probability is, this check again based on this diagram. Two idle, one running. So this one, right? Two idle, anything else? This one. Yeah. And also this one. The total is 0.28. The last, so 3 machines idle. So if we have 4, you should add 1 more. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 machines. If we have 4. Understand? So we try to calculate the hours of machining time when we have only one operators. For example, if we have one machine downtime, assume that the number of machine is 3, and we have one operators. If the one machine is down or idle, the operator will repair this machine, so this machine can be run. We assume that we don't have any delay or idle. That's why the loss of the machining time is 0. Understand, Ahmed?
So we want to explain more about it.
Okay. If we have 3 machines, and for this one, if we have 3 machines and no idle machine, so I think we have 3 machines running, right? For this one, that's why the loss of machining time is 0. And then for the second, if we have 3 machines and we have one operator in this case, so if one machine idle or delay, this operator can help to maintain the machine and can be run. It assumes that 3 machines running. That's why the loss of machining time is 0. Okay. And then for the next, if we have 3 machines and 2 machines idle, we have one operator, right? Help for the first machine or the second machine. So we have still 1. So the number of the machine, the loss of the machining time is 1 machine, right? And then 1 machine multiplied by the probability, and this is the number of operating time for 8 hours. That's why 1 multiplied by 0.288 multiplied by 8, and it is the total. Understand? Mas, bingung?
Yang 8 operating time itu dapat dari mana?
Oh, soal. Soal. This on this. Oh, that's disebutkan tadi tetap mention in the case study.
Terus maaf ya. Jadi yang satu itu mesin yang lagi down itu.
Ya. One machine down, two machine run. Because we have three machines, two machine down right before. Because we have one operator, this operator help for the second. So the third machine still down. That's why the number is 1. And the last, if we have three, correct? Three machine idle, one operator help. We still have two machine idle. That's why the number of machine is 2. 2 multiplied by 0.04, 0.0864 multiplied by 8. The same things in the right side. If we have two operator, so yeah, in the last row, if we have we have 3, and we have two operators. We have 3 machines. All of them is, all of this machine is down. Then 2 operator help 2 machines, but only so we have only 1 machine idle or downtime, but the idle or down. That's why 1 by 0.064 multiplied by 8. So if we have 3 operators, I think 0, because all of the operators handle for 3 machines.
Sorry, but for number 8, is it like should be mentioned in the question or slide master?
Oh, for the 8 hours, we will give information in the case study. We will mention. But if we mention only 4 hours, you can change to the 4 based on the operating time for the machine in a day. Any question? Okay. Next, for the proportion, I think you can calculate all of this. This is the result of the percentage. Okay. Next, for the expected cost, you can calculate about the number of for 1 operator, 2 operators, and also 3 operators. Just read the slide. I think we can understand easily. This is end of the slide for this the expected cost concept, and then I will continue for the next week. Today, I will discuss about the man machine chart. So we know that for the man machine chart, we have 2 types. For all of ini bahasa Indonesia yang saya belum. Biasanya kita nyebutnya sebagai peta kerja keseluruhan. Iya, Mas. Thank you. divide of the machine chart. We have overall machine chart. So for the machine chart, we divide into two options, two types: local process map and also overall process map. So for the overall, we will divide all of the process completely. But for the local process map, we will divide only a part of the process. So in the overall process map, we have three types. For the first is about operation process chart, OPC. That's why we call it OPC. I think it's common, and you will use this chart until the end of this study. Of course, because many of practicum or many of course also need for the OPC. And then when you choose like a manufacturing system, for example, for your final thesis, for your final project, yeah, you need OPC also. You will use this chart, and then for the first we call it OPC, and the second is flow process chart, and the third is flow diagram. In OPC, FPC, and also flow diagram, we use 5 symbols from ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineering. So it is standard. Circle it means operation or process. And then second for the transportation. And then continue for inspection. And then continue for the delay, like D. And continue for storage for the triangle. Easy, right? Only 5. But for each machine chart, for the process map, yeah, they have different characteristic between others. For the first, if we discuss about OPC or operation process charts, sometimes we can find the common things, symbols. For example, operation, inspection, and also we can combine it to be one. So the symbol could be like this. Right. Oh, marker. We can use the same two symbols in one process. It means operation. It means inspection. So when they do like how to wrap something, and then try to check the quality of this seal, yeah, do the two things in one process, it means combination between process and also between operation and also delay. So the symbol, understand? Okay. This is the example. So if we have OPC, if we want to create an OPC, operation process chart, it is start based on the BOM 3. BOM 3. You know, Ahmed? Peel off? BOM 3. BOM 3.
So we use it in practical control.
Correct. Peel off material. In peel off material, you can define the component part of the products, right? Yeah. So after you understand what the part of the product, you can continue to create the OPC, and then this is the name. Sometimes we can define based on the BOM 3, and that is the name of the part of the based on the smaller part, and that is the main part. this one. So it is about the water valve factory. The main part is body, right? So the main part you should put this part in the right side at the end of this OPC, because the body is the main part of this water valve, and the small things you can put in the left side from this main part. Can you imagine? And then please do not utilize like this. For example, for the valve, they have only they have 1, 2, 3, 4 operation, and then sometimes because the valve need to be assembly with the STEM in this process. Please do not put valve in the left side here, for example, because it needs to be combined in this process. Does it jadi? Sorry. So please put the component of the part close with others when they need to assembly. Because when we put here, because the handle will assembly in the end of the operation. That's why they put in the left side, because it will assembly in the end of this process. That's why we put in the left side, not in the right side. Understand? Ada pertanyaan? Bingung, Mas?
Masih mengerti.
Coba ngerti. Jadi intinya jangan taruh dia di sebelah kanan, jangan didekatkan ke kanan kalau dia mau dirakit akhir. Kalau dia dirakit akhir, taruh paling kiri. Supaya apa? Dia tidak melanggar misalnya. For example, if we will assembly this handle here with stand, do not put handle here. Put handle here, because we can assembly this stand, this handle here. Do not cross it. Understand? Ya. Bingung, Mas?
Ya,
Paham ya? Jadi intinya jangan sampai ada perpotongan. Tidak boleh ada perpotongan. Kalau ada perpotongan berarti kamu harus geser mana yang terbaik sehingga bentuknya garisnya tidak boleh memotong.
Maaf, itu yang buat terakhir itu kayak hasil produk akhirnya Pak. Kayak misalnya kursi gitu.
Iya.
Produk akhirnya kursi itu ditaruh di ujung kanan.
Iya, the main body di sini, dan
Oh,
ini proses the last part, the last operation here. The main body, so it means that we need nut and also handle to assemble here. Okay, and then what does it mean? Nut and also washer. Why we put here in the end of this operation? Yeah, because sometimes we buy it, not make it. Just order for the another supplier. We buy the nut and also washer. Without any operation, any process, without this. That's why we only put an assembly with another parts at the end of the process. That's why we only need to put something like this. This is O, for example, O23, and then this is O24, for example. So if we need one washer, yeah, just write down here, washer. Put washer here. So it means we don't need to give any operation for this part. Just buy and then assembly. Understand? And then don't forget to put the time standard here. Sometimes we have many types how to write down the information for the operation on OPC. Sometimes if we have a process like this, If we have process, yeah, and then for the name of process, for example, drilling, then we put 30 seconds. It's okay. And then this is like a standard. Okay. Any question for OPC? Okay. If you have any question, you can ask. And then for the next, yeah, this one, flow process chart. In flow process chart, yeah, we will make sure about the delay, because in flow process chart we also put delay symbols. Yeah. And then we try to make information, give the information for the readers how about the process, the sequence of the process. For example, they have operation and then continue for delay waiting for the messengers, and then continue for deliver, continue delay again, and continue. Just put and make a connection between others. This is flow process charge. But sometimes it means that this is like a serial process. It's like a cannot do for the parallel process. Understand? And then for the next is flow diagram. For the flow diagram, yeah, you create like a 2D map first, and then give like a line and make a connection between one process to another process. For example, this one and this one continue to the next, continue to the next. Give an arrow from the first process to another process. Just it called flow diagram.
So it doesn't describe the like what process does it mean, like.
Oh yeah, you
the
can put
actor.
the information, the name of the process, but we do not need. We do not. We don't need to put like times or anything. Just the name of the process, and the arrow, it means the sequence. For the first process, second process, third process, and continue for the last process until storage sometimes. Continue to the end of the process for the storage. Okay, I think it's easy. Then for the next on the yeah, for the main machine chart, it is part of route and also for the local process. For the local, it called main machine chart, gain process chart, and also left and right hand chart, or it called operator chart. For the first main machine chart, we try to define the idle or delay of the machine, and sometimes the idle of the delay for the operators. Sometimes we can also describe about the delay for the operator and also the machine. So we define the activity of the machine and also the activity of the operators too often, and try to analyze which part of the operator can be adjusted or arranged to another activity. This is the example. So we try to define the activity of the customer, clerk, and also machine for the coffee printer. At the time the customer is waiting, but the clerk get coffee and put in the machine, set green and start printer. And also when the operator or the clerk set the green, coffee machine still. And then when the machine, the operator is idle, while the machine greens, so the machine is So it divide like the productive and non-productive activity, something like that. To divide it, and then for the customer also still fine. That's why in this chart we try to analyze each part. If we want to move the operator or give any task, another task, we can use based on this chart.
Is it basically like BPM and
BPM and no different. Because for the BPM and as long as I know, so only design process. But for the main machine process, we also put the time. Okay. And then we can calculate. This is the result based on the main machine chart. We can calculate the number of utilization. Because we try idle, we try to calculate how many percent of the idle and how many percent for the working time. But this case study discuss about the customer clock and also coffee grinder. It means if we add more clock, I think we can still use one coffee grinder. Understand what I mean? So if we have two customers, is it possible at the same time? If we have two customers at the same time, is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. Why? Because the total utilization for the machine only 30. So to serve one coffee
30%.
at that time, only need 30% of this available time. That's why we have still 70%. So it's possible to use if we have one customer. Still need one machine. But for the clerk, I think we should add more to do the process in the same time. This is the function of the main machine charge. Bingung mas? Hah? Bingung? Aman ya? Pantesan dia sering bilang aman. Do you know? Yeah. What does it mean?
It's the same. I understand all.
No problem. Okay. Kalau ikut-ikutan aman. Ya, iya mas.
I have a question. So, on fourth semester, I believe that we have like man machine practical work.
Man machine.
Yes.
The first semester.
Fourth semester.
Oh, the first semester, yes.
We need to make the man machine process step also.
Depend on the case study for the practical. Yeah. But it's possible for the final thesis. But not only the simple case. Please make for the whole department and then try to analyze if you have 5 operators, for example, do the man machine chart and then try to calculate the utilization of one operator, two operator, second operator, something like that. I think it is possible for final thesis. But for the practicum, I think we'll focus on this one for the next after midterm exam, time standard. How to calculate the time standard. So we have direct time study and then indirect time study. For the practicum, focus on this. But as long as for the practicum, you will analyze for the local process map only for left and right hand side. Data tangan kiri, data tangan kanan. In the end of this slide. Okay? For this part, understand? Jadi enaknya kita bisa kalkulasi. Oh ini banyak nganggurnya. Tak geser dia di sini bisa. Oh mesin ini utilitasnya the utility of the machine only 30%. So we can focus. If we want to add more for the number of the clerk or the barista or something, it's possible because the machine utility is only 30%. from 500 at that time. Okay? Then can process chart, I think similar with the previous chart for the main machine chart, but they try to analyze many types of operator, or it analyze about the nurse, first doctor, auxiliary, and something. And then last is left and right hand chart. Bahasa Indonesia we call it peta tangan kiri, peta tangan kanan. Left and right hand chart, we concern about tablets. What is tablets? Remember with Gilbert? No. Who is he or he? Frank and Lillian Gilbert.
The finder of economics.
Yeah. The fund? Funder?
Economics.
No, for economics, no. Motion study, method study. The initiator of method study and motion study. Remember? And Taylor?
Frederick Taylor,
Yeah.
the founder of
Scientific management and also work measurement. So in this class, the concept only two: before and after midterm exam. Before midterm exam, we will discuss about method study. It calls, in method study we divide it into motion study. How to grab the time of this activity, grabs, release or something with this chart. Peta tangan kiri, peta tangan kanan, left and right hand chart. Okay, and then this is 17 element of activities. Start from search, select, grab, reach, move, hold, release. We have. Then for the element, it is the basic element for how to make left and right hand chart. For the peta tangan kiri kanan. Next slide, next meeting, I will continue for the how to create this chart, especially for the 17 element. Any question?
for the next week we have exam, right?
Yeah, so not for the next week, but maybe for tomorrow, or I think we can arrange the class for tomorrow because only 5%, right? In the morning, if you have time, I will continue.
So normally in the
Afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What time? Oh, 12 I have class. Let me check first. Send message to me, okay? Yeah. And then the last is about SOP. Standard operation procedure. So for the standard operation operating procedure, we try to describe the operation, some process, and we try to describe about the risk, operational risk, and also control the objective, and then control activities, flow chart, so definition, the explanation of the flow chart, and we try to provide a formula or the form if we do something. It's called SOP. But for the focus for the next, we will study about this one. And we need to understand about the 17 elemental brick for the next after the midterm exam. The main, for the main case, we will deliver in the after midterm exam because we need to study about standard data and also predetermined PMTS, predetermined time measurement system. Sorry, predetermined motion time study. So we will study about the motion, the activity like the left and also right hand chart. Okay. Any question? Enough? Yeah.
Do you mind giving us the presentation?
Sure. Now I will send.
Thank you.